I want to introduce you to a system to go from unfit to Superfit. Now, the average American walks between 3,000 to 4,000 steps per day. That works out at roughly 1.5 to 2 miles of walking per day. And what this means is a lot of people are really quite unfit. Now, low fitness levels can be a bit of a red flag and can indicate an increased chance of early death. So really what we want to do is be as fit as we possibly can be. And this will increase longevity, increase quality of life. It will improve your cognitive and physical performance. It will increase daily energy levels. It will increase your recoverability, how quick you recover in your workouts, but also day-to-day life. And it will also help your body to become more efficient at using fat as fuel. So actually breaking down excess fat and actually using that as an energy source. Now, a lot of people sort of correlate doing cardiovascular training with doing lots of intense workouts, more HIIT style workouts, but you don't really need to follow this process. It can actually be a lot easier than that to build up your aerobic base, become fitter over a period of time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through sort of 4 steps that you can follow to go from unfit to Superfit. And the first is you need to be in aerobic zone 2. And aerobic zone 2 is essentially going at a speed where you can talk, but you don't particularly want to. And the best way to be able to get into this aerobic zone 2 is by going for a brisk walk. Now, with the brisk walk, what we're trying to do is we're trying to increase our heart rate so that we actually improve our fitness level, but not going at such a point where it becomes quite labored and you potentially get a bit of a stitch or you can't really hold a conversation. As I said previously, you want to be able to hold a conversation, but not particularly want to. And at the start with walking, you can start with just doing a 10-20 minute walk. And even if you've just done one 10 to 20 minute walk per week, then that would start to see an improvement in your cardiovascular fitness if you're not doing anything at the very beginning. Now, the idea would be to do a short walk every single day. So going for a 10-20 minute walk every single day. And the idea is to increase the frequency that you walk and the duration. Okay, so getting to a point where you're going for a walk most days and you're getting up to anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes of brisk walking. Now, even if you've just done a few walks per week, as I said, you're still going to get an increase in your cardiovascular fitness. But obviously, the more you do and the more duration you do, up to 45 minutes, even an hour if you can do that, but anything from 30 to 45 minutes is great. Then you're going to start seeing that improvement in your cardio fitness. Now, the second step is then to go into doing something I call LIT, low intensity interval training. So it's like HIIT, high intensity interval training, but instead of going from a jog to a hard run, what we're doing is we're going from a walk to a slow jog. Now, you can do this on a bike or any other form of cardiovascular training or equipment, but we're going to use walking to run as an example for now. So you'd go for a walk, you'd walk for a certain distance, and then you try out to go for a slow jog, again, keeping it at a intensity that you're still able to hold that conversation. And once you get to a point where you can't hold it anymore, you then go back into a walk and you continue to do this. You go from a walk to a slow jog to a walk, and you're going to judge this by your ability to be able to actually hold a conversation. Now, the aim is to then, over a period of time, increase the time that you're able to continue running for before you need to go back into a walk, until you get to the point where you can hold and you can actually do this run for anything from 30 to 45 minutes. Now, once you can get to that point where you're able to hold this for 45 minutes, then what you're going to do is move into phase 3, and this is doing some steady state cardio. Now, steady state cardio is going a little bit faster, but going into a slow jog now and going for 30 to 45 minutes. Now, the aim is we want to get ourselves so that we can do roughly 2 to 2.5 hours of cardio per week. So trying to get to a point of doing 3 steady state runs per week. Now, at this sort of volume of training, what you're going to be able to do is you're going to really improve your aerobic base. You're going to really improve your aerobic fitness. The idea is, as I say, you're either doing 3 times 45 minutes, or you can do 4 times 30 minutes. And this is where we're just holding a steady state jog, cycle, rowing machine, whichever bit of equipment that you're using, so that you're able to continue that cardiovascular training. Now, what you're aiming to do with this is to increase your intensity whilst keeping your heart rate at that zone 2. And remember, we can go into sort of what your heart rate you want to be at, but the best thing to do is actually just use that tool. It's a really good way to be able to actually understand if you're in the right zone. And the idea, as I said, is to be able to keep that heart rate low as we increase that intensity of actually what we were doing in our cardiovascular training. And what that shows is that we're becoming more cardiovascularly efficient, we improve our fitness levels. Now, once you've been doing this for 6 months, and you've been doing a consistent cardiovascular training, which is a little bit more intense. So as I say, we're doing like a jog, a cycle, still in that zone 2. That's when we move into VO2 max training. So VO2 max training is a more intense way of training. An example of VO2 max training would be to go for a 4-minute, pretty intense effort. So say we're on a bike now, you're doing an intense effort for 4 minutes, and what you want to be able to do is maintain the same cadence on the bike and the same wattage, and be able to maintain that for the full 4 minutes. And getting to roughly about 85% of your maximum heart rate would be a good place to be. But you know, if you're going very fast at the start and you're really dropping off at the end of the 4 minutes, you're probably going too hard at the start. So that's the key, being able to maintain sort of the same intensity throughout the 4 minutes. Then you have a 4-minute recovery. You then do a second round of 4 minutes, another 4-minute recovery, and you repeat this 4 times. And really you want to sort of do a 5 to 10 minute warm up, 5 to 10 minute warm down. And if you add a VO2 max session onto your cardiovascular sessions, then your fitness level will go to a whole new level. And really the whole idea is we want to try and improve our VO2 max so that we come into the top 5% in our age group, and then even potentially becoming into the top 5% of 10 years younger. And by sort of going from what would start with a steady state walk, increasing the frequency and intensity of your walking until you got to the point where you're going into that low intensity interval training, increasing the time that you're able to hold that run until you're able to run for 35 to 40 minutes, then increasing the frequency of your runs until you either do 4 times 30-minute runs or 3 times 45-minute runs, then getting in the VO2 max training. You are going to go from unfit to super fit. Now, the ideal sort of training frequency of your cardiovascular, it might sound like a lot, but if you could do 2 cardiovascular low intensity, so you get zone 2s and 1 VO2 max, and then couple it with some resistance training, you would have a phenomenal training week, and you would become fitter, you would become stronger, you'd increase lean muscle, you'd recover fast, you'd have more energy. So that's essentially the system of how to go from unfit to super fit. It will roughly take you, depending what your current fitness level is, 9 to 12 months to really take yourself to that next level. So if you enjoyed the video and you want more tips on how to improve your fitness, your health, your performance, your body composition, then just follow me for more of those, like this video, and yeah, I look forward to seeing you on the next one.